Hey everyone, so today I'm going to show you how to find W, and that's the missing angle for this question. Now we also have two other missing angles. We have X and Y. We have to work out them to work out W. So I'm going to show you how to approach this question. Now for me, when I look at this question, I don't really enjoy looking at the ABD, the ABC. I find it a bit confusing. I kind of just jump into what I can work out. Now, it is obviously important to read the question to see everything you have, but you can also start thinking to yourself, well, we have a Y, we have an X. I know all angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Why don't I start with that? So that's kind of my thinking. I immediately start seeing these things, but as everyone's probably not going to have that same thinking process, I would say just read the question. Think about what you can use, because if they're telling you something, they probably want you to use it. And then just add pieces like a puzzle until you kind of build or follow that string and you'll get your answer. So as I said, the first thing I looked at is the Y and the X and the fact they're in a triangle. Now, I know that all those angles in that triangle are going to add up to 180 degrees. If you weren't aware of that, that's just a fact, so you can apply that to any triangle. And this triangle is also an isosceles. So you see where that angle Y is? Coming out of that, you've got two lines with dashes on them. That means they're the same length. That's what defines an isosceles triangle. It has two sides of the same length. And because they are the same length, where they intersect that DA line or AD line, they're going to create the same angle with that line. So effectively, in the triangle, you're going to have Y, X, and X. I haven't tagged it on my work, maybe I should have, so maybe I'll put that in post, but we have Y, X, and X. Those are our three angles inside the triangle. So Y plus X is equal to 180 degrees. So Y degrees plus 2X degrees is equal to 180 degrees. So the next part I notice is the XY 2:1 ratio. Now I got a little bit confused with this actually, so I thought it'd be good to go into a bit more detail. So I instinctively thought that it meant 2X is equal to Y, but that's not actually true. So if you write it out like this, you have the 2, 1 and x, y. So if x is 2, then y is 1, and you can times it by 10 or something like that if you want to make it a bit easier to understand, like x is 20 and y is 10, as long as it's the same ratio. So from there you can see that x is equal to 2y, because x is 2 and y is 1. So we've got our formula x is equal to 2y. We've extracted this formula because we want to create an equation with just one unknown in it. So for example, y degrees plus 2 times 2y degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Because we took our previous equation and we got rid of the x and substituted it for y. So now we can basically times this out, simplify it a bit, and we can work out what y is. So y plus 4y degrees is equal to 180 degrees, because we just times out that little bit. And that's going to be equal to 5y degrees, because we just added them together. Next we divide both sides by 5, so we get y is equal to 36 degrees, or y degrees is equal to 36 degrees. Next up we want to use the fact that y and w are on a straight line. It does tell us it's a straight line in the question. I've just assumed that, but it does say that in the question. It says ABC is a straight line, because these things aren't always drawn accurately. So 180 degrees is equal to y degrees plus w degrees, because all angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. We know what y is, so we can just rearrange this equation. So w degrees is equal to 180 degrees minus y degrees. So w is going to be equal to 144 degrees. So I hope that makes sense. I hope it was clear. I decided to use the terminology like y degrees or x degrees just because the unknown in the question is like y degrees or x degrees, but you could just say, w is equal to 144 degrees. I feel like, that's still acceptable terminology. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it was clear. If you do have comments or questions, you can let me know. And thanks for watching the video. Hope it helped.